right. Greed works.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 55 of Let's Play Wall Street Raider. I'm Rakem, your host. Before we begin today, I need to share with you again the same thing that I did last time for those who are not watching these episodes in order. We have reached the point where we are leaving the realm of reality and entering the world of make-believe. The kinds of numbers that we're going to be seeing today have no basis in reality, and some of the transactions and the behavior of the simulation are not going to mimic any kind of behavior that exists in the real world. We have basically built our wealth all the way up to $21 quadrillion, something that no one in the real world has ever done. And according to the publisher of the game, the average or the most common high score that he sees after a 35-year game is 220 to 230 trillion. So we are well beyond what has been tested for the regular market. We have basically exceeded all of the expectations, especially given that it's only 2031, March of 2031. We haven't even completed 16 years of game time yet. There's still, 19 years to go? 20 years to go? So we are well beyond what the publisher ever expected anyone to be able to do with this game. And as a result, we are going to see today some issues that have never been addressed, never been witnessed even. And I am working with the publisher to try to fix the problems that we're going to see today. All right, so now that I've gotten that out of the way, basically let me recap what we did last week or last episode. We have 57 companies, asset-bearing companies. Well, if we include this holding company, Waste Management is a holding company now. And we also have the 6 insurance companies in the bank. We have sold off all of these companies that we had last time out. So the ones that we retained, we had them sell off their holdings of oil and gold, and we had them buy the index instead. All right, now the profits that they made off of gold and oil showed up on their earnings reports and caused their stock prices to rise. Now, when their stock prices rose, the value of their index futures rose, and so they were the cash that they were earning off of their futures was dispersed, which added to their net worth, which raised their stock price, which raised the index, which generated more cash, which raised their stock price, which raised the index, and on and on and on. And we at this point are in a loop of constant wealth generation. So the fact that we rose last episode from 1.2 quadrillion all the way up to 21 is a result of that cycle. And that cycle will continue until we sell off these index futures. So for instance, well, actually before I actually start clicking anything and advancing the clock, there's a couple of things that I want to do. And the first thing that I want to do is I want to close out all of the options that we have on SunTrust. And I'll explain why. Well, I guess I better go ahead and show you why. Okay, so let's go to me. I have options, call options on Arkansas Best. Now, these are call options because he's the counterparty on put options for the bank. And when I sold him put options, basically what it meant was I'm going to sell him the 2% of the bank's stock at a certain price today. And if it goes up, that put option will become worthless, and I don't ever have to pay back the money that I owe him. But if it drops, then in order to buy the put option back, I have to pay him everything that he gave me plus more. All right, so the price of the bank is up, so I should be making money and he should be going broke. But instead, if we look at his net worth, he's negative on cash, yes, but his option is supposedly worth more money now than when I sold it to him. Because when I sold it to him, it was only worth 50 million bucks. And now it's up over what? 20 trillion? That's just not supposed to happen. That is a mistake. That is a flaw in the logic of the game. Okay, so if I close out all of these options, he should go broke. In which case I would not have to buy back any of the call options that I sold on him. All right, so I'm going to buy all of the outstanding stock of the bank so that all of these options on the bank get settled, basically get closed out. All right, now the options that I have on Safeco, these are accurate. I am losing money. His stock price is going up. It's going up from $35 a share to 60.76. And so I'm losing a lot of money on them, so I'm going to buy those back. I'm also going to cover my short positions because I'm losing money on all of them. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close these out. Now I don't have enough money to buy the outstanding stock, the public stock of the bank, so I have to have the bank disperse some cash first. Okay, but I do have enough money to buy these back, so I'm going to go ahead and take care of this first while I'm here. All right, now next, I'm going to have the bank issue an extraordinary dividend for the maximum amount. Okay, and now I'm going to buy all of the outstanding stock of the bank. And I am going to buy it from our other 5 companies as well. All right, and next I'm going to buy index futures so that I can show you what's happening with them from a new set. There are my index futures, and it's already gone up because the index is on the rise. And this growth is exponential. We've already gone from 21 to 39 quadrillion dollars in just a few clicks. All right, so now I need to buy these call options back from Safeco. So I'm going to do that. So all I have left is call options on Arkansas Best, and now that we've closed out the call options, you notice that the $20 trillion that option was worth has disappeared. He didn't get credit for it when I closed the options out. Okay, and he shouldn't have, because that 20 trillion was not real. Okay, that's a problem with the logic or the display or both. But he's going to go broke now, and all of this money that it says I'm losing, I'm not going to lose it. He's going to go broke, and all these will become worthless, and I'll get to keep all the money I got from these put options when I sold them. Okay, a lot is happening in this game every second. The index has already, just those few clicks, it's up another 2,000 points. All right, all of our stocks are growing exponentially. So I'm going to resign as the CEO of the bank. And I'm going to turn on the autopilot so that every time these companies declare earnings, it will split their stock down to a more manageable level. Otherwise, it would go right off the screen and we wouldn't know exactly what the stock prices are. All right, so I'm going to save the game at this point. Because I think we're going to want to come back to this specific point in time. All right. The other error that's going to come up whenever a company of ours is sued for antitrust, Ryland is the first one that's going to come up. The next antitrust that's going to make it to court is one against Ryland. Now, Ryland has stock index futures, each of which are worth he started out with 10,000 contracts each, and then that was split. The index reached 90,000, so they split the index, and that became 50,000, and then they split it again, so it became 1.25. What is that? Billion? 1.25. No, 1.25 trillion. That's how many contracts he has. So when the index splits, basically they just multiply your number of contracts by 5 so that the value remains accurate. All right, so the value of these now is $748 trillion. Each one of them times 5 for what? $3.741 quadrillion. And this is just one company, and we have, once again, 63 companies with stock index futures. So every time this goes up $1, we're going up billions and trillions over here on each company that we have futures for. Okay, so I'm going to come back to him. Just remember, he's got, what is it? He's got $37 quadrillion, I think. What is it? 741, 241. Okay, $3.7 quadrillion in cash is what he has. All right, now after he gets sued, this is going to be a huge negative. So I'm going to go ahead and have Irish sell him off. But we'll go look at him again after his antitrust suit makes it to court. All right, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to do before I turn the ticker on. I guess that's it. So I'm going to turn on the ticker. The ticker is set to 66, and I'm going to fast forward whenever I'm not talking, but we're going to be looking at some stuff like, for instance, the interest rate. Keep an eye on that. It's going to go all the way up above 20%. The rest of the commodities will behave normally, but this stock index basically is going to double every couple of minutes. And the interest rate, the more cash there is in the market, the higher this rate's going to go. All right. We're basically going to just run the ticker. I'm not going to do anything transaction-wise from this point moving forward until after Ryland gets sued and loses. Berkshire Hathaway will be up next, so we'll end up selling him as well. But, just keep your eye on the net worth over here, the interest rate, the index, and a lot of pop-ups are going to come up. But unless there's something I want to talk about, I'm just going to enter right through them. And we're going to be going at 4 times regular speed. So if you want to slow it down on YouTube to watch all the individual changes and the pop-ups and whatnot, just slow it down on YouTube and you'll be able to see everything. All right, so without further ado, let's turn on the ticker. Okay, Ryland's estimate for earnings has gone up, but when he gets sued, he's going to be in a world of hurt. The next earnings report that comes up will be for STI. And STI, actually, his earnings are going to show that he's losing money. He's not losing money, but it says that he is. Okay. Why this has a huge negative, I couldn't tell you. So, like, see all the cash he has? So I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and put that in something that earns interest. I mean, maybe he is losing money, because he's paying interest on all these CDs, and he's not earning as much from having this cash sitting here as he is paying out. So let's put that in mortgages. Maybe that'll help him out, but it'll also illustrate a point that I wanted to show you. Watch this. I'm going to put all of his money, every cent, into mortgages. Click OK, and now look, all I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up his report again. Boom, he's got trillions of dollars in cash again. All right, so let's watch the ticker run. Now on the insurance companies, their income reports are actually a little bit more in line with what's actually coming in. So Hartford is up. Tokyo is up. And by the way, this is their regular income, but check out what their total income is. It's just huge. We're up to 67 quadrillion now. Zurich, 4 cents, made, what is that? 19 trillion in a single quarter, 27 trillion total. Okay. Swiss, again, he's up 28 trillion. Fortis, 9 trillion there, but what is that? 10 trillion here, I guess. Irish Life, 16 trillion. Down here, 16 trillion again. Okay. Nissan paid out an extraordinary dividend. That's the autopilot doing that. His earnings are up. I mean, look at these numbers. I mean, it's just huge. 85 quadrillion, 88 quadrillion now. Center Core. Okay. Over 6 trillion. It's all cash, so it's going into the bank's account. See, we've almost we've almost got as much in just a few seconds. And we've only gone from the 4th to the 11th. 1 week. And we already have another, let's see, that's 866 trillion, so 194 quadrillion dollars. Okay, let's put that in mortgages too. Index is about to split. Okay, look, see here it's splitting. Open materials, another 6 trillion. 114 quadrillion. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple more things, and then I'm going to get out of the way and just let this run. But first of all, I want to get Enzo off of this list. We don't own any part of him. Let's add Ryland to this list so that I have a shortcut to him later. And I don't remember if I covered or bought back my deals on Safeco. Okay, I did. All right, so just to show you my futures now, they've been split. So they're 50,000 a piece, and now it's what, 12 trillion a piece. I originally bought them for 500 billion, and they've grown up to 12 trillion each. So this is going to keep going. When it hits 90,000, it'll split again. These will all be 250. Then they'll go to 1.25 million. Then it'll split again times 5 for 600, or what is it, 6 million. So anyway, let me show you the bank real quick too. When it comes to the net worth, the stock price catching up to the net worth is almost constantly double or near double the stock price. So even though all these companies have all this cash, we're nowhere near, our net worth is nowhere near what he has in cash. And that's because the stock price just never catches up to the net worth. Okay, so we're going to be lagging behind. Now, at some point, these numbers are going to get so big that the program can't handle it. Okay, now it's going to take us a little while to get there. I'm going to go ahead and run this just to show you how high it'll go. Okay, and along the way, we're going to stop and look at a few things, but I'm going to run this till it crashes, basically. All right, and I'm going to come back every once in a while when there's something interesting, like for instance when the bankruptcy hits, I'll come back. Or not the bankruptcy, but the antitrust. And at some point the futures will be worth so much money that it'll crash and all the companies will be forced to liquidate their futures, and they won't get the full value of the futures. Instead, a glitch will happen and all their cash will be turned to negative, basically. All right, so anyway, so we're going to go ahead and run the ticker. I'm going to fast forward, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to click through all these notices just so the ticker keeps running. Put on some music, and I'll be back in just a minute. All right, I just noticed that Ryland's stock price is only $0.25, so let's go look at him right now and see what's going on with him. See, I didn't see his antitrust come up, but he's already gone from whatever that total was. I don't remember, 3 point whatever quadrillion dollars, and he's already negative. All right, so he's basically hugely bankrupt, and I'm not exactly sure if I missed the bankruptcy note or the antitrust notice or whatever, but this is what happens right away as soon as somebody's antitrust hits the court. It's like Berkshire is the next one up, and he's got all kinds of cash and is still going up, but as soon as his antitrust hits, all this will disappear. So we're going to go ahead and have Hartford sell him off while he's still worth something. Okay, so as these companies declare their earnings, the autopilot will split them down to like the $50 level. Some cases lower, but as the ticker runs, they just start growing back up again. All right, so I'm going to let it run for a little bit, and I'll be back when we get an antitrust notice. So here's my notice that ABFS has gone bankrupt. So the options that I had on him are gone. They've been settled. So I have no more options on him or any other options. I still have my futures, which are going to split here in just a minute to another 5 times this figure. But as far as the Arkansas Best, he finally did go bankrupt. I'm pausing here because I just realized why it was we didn't get the notice about the bankruptcy for Ryland, and it's because we sold him. So since we didn't own him, we didn't get a notice regarding him, and the same thing will happen with Berkshire. Now, before the next owned company's bankruptcy comes up, which I think is going to be Vulcan Materials, I think we're going to already be at the point where the numbers are so big that the game is going to choke on the amount of cash that it's tracking. But if I won't sell Vulcan off just on the off chance that it comes up before the game crashes. So I'm going to turn the ticker back on now. And if that does come up, I will pause and we'll take a look at him. Okay, we've gotten up to where the numbers are so big that despite the fact that his wealth is just going up and up and up and up and up, National Oil Well Varco has just gone bankrupt. Now, you and I both know that if his stock index futures are earning money, that should not happen. His cash should just get bigger and bigger and bigger. But we've reached the point where the numbers just can't keep up. The game, the program, the computer just can't handle numbers as big as what we're looking at now. Okay, so you notice that Berkshire went broke and he's off the list now. And if I go to, okay, so the bank's starting to have cash issues as well. If I go to largest market cap, there aren't even enough spaces here to show you the total value of these companies, because this is supposed to be from largest to smallest, and as you can tell, the numbers reset once you get to Tokyo. You know, they're just too big. They're just too big. The game can't handle it. Look at the credit rating on all of these. How can it be worth this much money, have no debt, and have a D credit rating? Okay, so like Vulcan Materials, his cash is now showing negative because it can't show or can't calculate how much money he has anymore. It's just too big a number. So this is what's happening. It's just too big. We've got $61 quintillion in our net worth. Okay, now this will continue to go up. Okay, because it takes some time for these bankruptcies. Like they're all being forced to liquidate their contracts because the numbers are too big. And then once that happens, they all start declaring bankruptcy because their cash balance is negative. We're going to get a lot of these. Hang on just a second. And now they're going broke. So starting with Newmont, he's gone broke, and they're all going to start going broke. Now the bank will start losing the cash, but his stock price hasn't caught up with his net worth yet. Cha-ching Metals just went broke. Okay, now we're up to 63 quintillion. Ruhr just went broke. And they're all just going to go broke. So I've run this to this point 3 times now, not counting this time, to kind of see what was happening. And basically 68 quintillion was the highest it ever got, because there's a element of randomness, of chance in the calculations of all this stuff as far as the stock price goes. And some of it, another factor is the interest rate. The bank's price is probably doing better now because the interest rate is down. It was all the way up to 21%. The first time that I ran this, it didn't fall below 15. I think it stayed at 16.5 at this point. And so the bank's price was lower, and the total net worth, I think, was around 55 quintillion. But then another time it went down to 8. And the value was up around 68 quintillion. So anyway, at this point, what happens if I were to keep running the ticker is all of our companies, including the bank, will go broke. And the only money that we will have left is what I have in these futures. Looks like we actually reached the point where it crashed. All right, so I'm going to shut it down and restart it at our save point. There we go. All right, so basically we have a couple of things that we can do. We can go ahead and sell off all the index futures so that we don't get to the point where the game is crashing, and resume our series. We can go ahead and let the net worth run all the way up to 60 quintillion, and then sell off the bank, transfer all of our cash to a new bank so that when STI goes broke, we don't lose it because it's uninsured, and then resume our game. Or we can put this particular series to bed, work with a developer to get these issues resolved in version 7.73, and then start a new series. Those are basically our 3 options. So what I would like for you to do is leave a comment below after you've seen this episode, and just tell me what you think we ought to do. I think my intention is to go ahead and start a new series anyway, but if you would like to see this game run all the way out to its 35-year conclusion, just leave a comment below, and perhaps we'll do that if enough people are interested. Now, as far as the techniques of building wealth, I think I've covered them all, including some I never thought that I would, like the options. I never thought that I would get that. I have JV. I have a JV Baseball is a member of the WSR United Forum, and I have him to thank for getting me started in the options. They are a highly profitable, highly effective investment tool that I never really understood without or prior to speaking with him about them. The stock index was new to me. Prior to this version of the game, I was playing version 6.51, and the stock index was introduced in version 6.6. So that's something that I hadn't really used before starting this series, and it's it's actually easier to make money on the index than it is the rest of the commodities, because it's easier to predict when it's going to go up or when it's going to go down, especially if you own a major portion of the market, as we have during the entire second half of this series, which I think is about when we started investing in the stock index. But anyway, pending your comments and helping me decide where to go at this point, I'm going to take 2 weeks off and start doing some shorter, very targeted videos on different concepts in the game. We're going to explore stock selection when you have very little cash. So how do you select which stocks to invest in? I'll cover passive investment, the ins and outs of investing in bonds, investing in commodities, how to use stock options to your best advantage. Short videos, 10-15 minutes each, that basically cover all the finer points of individual strategies. And perhaps a couple of longer ones where you're combining several of those features together for an overall strategy. All right, so thank you for joining me for the series. It's been a lot of fun. I did not expect it to come to this point this early. Matter of fact, I never expected this particular perpetual wealth generation tool to happen. I think probably the solution, one of the reasons why it's being caused, number one, is because on the put options and call options, when you're selling them, especially when you're selling large blocks of trillions of dollars, if there's no company in the game that can reasonably afford to be the counterparty on those trades, then it should not be allowed. Those trades should basically, when you try to initiate them, it should come back and say, I'm sorry, but this is too large. I cannot find a counterparty. And according to the developer, that's what it's supposed to do. But somehow, because of the size of the trade, the number is being converted to a negative, which is less than the amount of money that those companies have. And so it's allowing the trade to take place. Okay, just like when our companies in the later stages of this simulation, their cash went from positive to negative. I think the same thing is happening during that credit and net worth check, that equity check. Okay, so that's the first thing that's got to get fixed. The second thing is, on these trades that have counterparties, so like let's say me and SunTrust, we enter into a transaction, and SunTrust starts losing money on it, and he sells off his side of the trade. That is not at the same time canceling my side of the trade. So basically, my counterparty becomes the public. Now in this simulation, the public can't go bankrupt. So when the index futures constantly make money and the counterparty never goes bankrupt, there is a way, we've shown that there is a way to make that a perpetual profit generator. And that can't happen. When the counterparty cancels his side, the other side should also be canceled. And if the counterparty goes bankrupt, that should be the end of the trade. I cannot collect more money than the counterparty has or can reasonably come up with. So even like in the real world, when a company goes bankrupt, that's it. Creditors have to fight over what little is left, and they get pennies on the dollar. And that's not happening here. We're being allowed to make money in perpetuity for the duration of the futures contract, which we set them all the way out to 5 years. So if 5 years went by and we were making money on it and we got to the expiration date, then it would be settled. But the numbers are so big before we get there. I mean, we only played, I want to say it was like 9 months of game time, if that. What was it? It was like the end of October, right? When we got to 61 quintillion. So 6 months of game time, maybe 7. It's just not going to get to the end before the game can't handle it. So that's gotta be put in place too. The other thing that's possible is to possibly get rid of counterparties, but again, you have then a situation where your trading partner can't go bankrupt. So what do you do when the trade just balloons out of control? So it's too open to manipulation at that point. So I think the counterparties have to stay, and when the counterparty goes bankrupt or sells off the futures or the option, then the other side should be canceled as well. But like I said, these numbers have never been addressed. They've never been tested. He's never seen anyone get up here to this level before, so it's all a new experience, and it'll all be addressed, I'm sure. So anyway, as soon as something happens, of course, I'll put some comments on this particular episode. I'll be looking for yours as well. Please let me know what you'd like to see in the next one, or if you have any mini episodes that you would like to see produced. Like one that was requested on the forum was starting strategies, how to generate maximum wealth in the early stages of the game. You know, by all means, put any requests in the comments below, and I'll be happy to take them up for consideration. All right, so thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun, and I hope you did too. If you did, please like and share. And until next time, this is Rakem saying, have a good one.